guys, Takamasak here. Just finished up the Hunt for Dark Infinity, which is the second in the 13th Reality series by James Dashner. Was it what I was expecting? Yes and no. Thankfully, compared to the first book, the action started up pretty quickly and was relatively consistent throughout. There wasn't, I'm sure as with any series like this, the second book, you don't have to wait nearly as long for the action, which really helps out, especially after the first book when there was just so much puzzle doing. Once again, as with any reviews I do, there may be some spoilers, but this is probably the last time I'm gonna say that. But I'll try not to give too much away, because once again, my objective is to get you to read that and kind of drum up interest for the stuff I'm reading. So, Tick and his gifted friends, I suppose you could call them, Sophia and... God, I can't even remember the other guy's name. That is one of my issues with the second book. Paul's his name. The two side characters, they seem to kind of have been pushed to the back a little bit. I mean, I know Tick is the main character and he needs to be built up and what have you, but it seems like they got, I don't know if I want to say they got dumber, but they didn't really seem to contribute as much. In this book, as you might expect, they're hunting for something called Dark Infinity. And there's Tick's teacher, science teacher, Reginald Chu, in Reality Prime is, like I said, his teacher. Completely nice guy, but in Reality number 4, Reginald Chu is this, like, extreme businessman, and he like wants to take over things. So what he has, the fourth dimension, is just really technologically advanced. Like I said, all the dimensions or realities will differ slightly. And Reginald Chu, like I said, he's the leader of this Chu Industries, this mega corporation, super futuristic. Maybe not super futuristic, but he creates this device to, I don't know if it gathers up Chikarta, which is like the energy type thing. It makes more sense when you read the books. It's not easy to explain, but the side effect of this is that the people, I believe, that he uses it on, they go kind of bananas, and it's kind of like a virus, and it gets these little nanobots or some kind of other nanotechnology into your bloodstream, and it basically takes you over, and your brain makes you think that you are Reginald Chu, and he can communicate to you through all these vessels, so to speak. So that's supposedly how it works. The issue I had with that is I don't even recall it explaining what the point of it was. They did mention that it was too strong for Reginald Chu to use by himself. So we have two people that Reginald Chu can... What's going on? Anyway, two kids looking at people walking by on train tracks. Two people that Reginald Chu need to assist him in running Dark Infinity, because he can't do it by himself. And it's two people we know already very well from the first book. The first book, Atticus Higginbottom, makes sense. And the second is Mistress Jane, who I don't believe I mentioned very much in the first review, because once again, I wanted to leave something for you guys to learn. Mistress Jane is like the leader of the 13th reality, where she has this kind of mutated Chikara that she can basically do whatever the hell she wants. And give her some superpowers there, so to speak, more or less there. But yeah, it's between Tick and her, and Chew, for whatever reason, I wasn't sure why this was necessary either. Chew sends Tick on all of these, like, some of them weren't really even that interesting. It's pretty much like the first book. Once again, he's given all these things he's got to solve, all these riddles and puzzles. At first he didn't know it was from Chew, but he eventually figures it out about halfway. I don't know if it was just there to test Tick on his ability to survive. I don't know where the book was trying to go with that, because, well, I still didn't really understand that. I mean, I suppose if you really need to test him, fine. But, I mean, I don't know. My best guess is that because there's some suspicion, like, I don't even know if Chew knows this at this point, where Tick has some kind of extreme power, and they all learn this by the end of the book, but Tick can't control it, so I don't know, maybe that's my best guess, is he's sending him through this to see if he can handle it. I don't know. But the only point of Mistress Jane, for her to get this assistant seat with Chew, all she has to do is kill Tick. That's it. And she never really even tried. For some reason, they decided to make her, like, a nicer person through most of the book, which was very confusing to me. I mean, even when they said, well, she's getting tired of the constant anger because she treats all of her servants and underlings like absolute garbage. She kills them, beats them, just all sorts of stuff like that. But I don't know, it seems like something was missing there. The upsides of that, you do get a lot more backstory. Sorry, very hot. You do get a lot more backstory on Mistress Jane, which is great. It gives you a little bit of empathy for her, but not too much. Empathy or sympathy? I always get those two confused. But you feel a little bit bad for her, not to the point where it's like, oh my god, I forgive her for everything she's done. No. Pure nutcase, and something happens to her by the end. Hint, they find, or spoiler alert, they find Dark Infinity, destroy Dark Infinity. But yeah, I did like that. You get a little more backstory on some of the other characters, but not the ones I was hoping for. You get very, very little on Sophia and Paul. My interest in those two characters really dropped in this book. I was actually kind of... Maybe it's just the narration, the way the guy was trying to do a 12, 13-year-old Italian girl who is just... ends up being kind of a snot. She's really snarky and always has comebacks and is really strong-willed, but I just kind of actually got tired of that character. I was just like, oh, please shut up after a while. It's just, I don't know, maybe if I had... She does kind of redeem herself in the end of the book by doing something to help out Tick. Once again, I'll leave that for you to read. But just, I was really hoping to learn more about her and Paul. Maybe that picks up later, but it's going to be the third book, and if I don't know much about them by now... I mean, at this point, I know where they're from, and I know brief family history about Sophia. But, I mean, other than that, there's not really much to say about them. I found them, like I said earlier in the review, I found them, they got less and less intelligent, which I would have really liked to see them play a more active role in that, but I don't know, I can't rewrite the book for them. I'm not an author, so that's probably for the best at least. But is there anything else I want to hit on in this book? I guess not. Like I said, it's definitely more action-packed. There are more cool scenes, but I suppose it kind of balances out a little more. Do I like this book better than the first in the series? It seems like the second books have kind of this notoriously bad reputation of, oh, it's the second book. This one's not as good as the first book. Which is more or less true, but not always. I think this book is a little better than the first book. Is it worth continuing? I would say yes. I still think the storyline is interesting. I definitely want to see what happens to Mistress Jane, who was nearly killed, actually by Tig. But once again, I'm not spoiling that for you. You read the book yourself. So yeah, I'm definitely going to read the third book in the installment, which I believe is called The Blade of Shattered Hope. So if anything, Dashner is wonderful at coming up with book titles. But yeah, I'll continue that, and once I finish that, in maybe a week or so, might be a little longer because of the holiday break coming up, I will come back and talk to you about that. So that's my opinion on The Hunt for Dark Divinity. See you later.